In this video, we're going to be talking about function notation. And really, all you have to understand is this. We're talking about input values and output values. If we have an input value, we've already been talking about for domain and range. Input values we really call the x value. Output values we really call the y value. And what we're saying is this. If you ever see this symbol here, what that really means is the function, what is the y value, what is the output, given this number inside the parentheses as the input. What is the function equal to if I put this value in as the input? Okay, what is y if x is equal to this number here? If that makes any sense at all, you should be able to do these problems. It's actually fairly simple. Okay. What we know then is if we put this in function notation, which is what we see here, function notation is using this symbol here. What is a function equal to if x is a certain value? And then they'll give you an equation, and they'll say something like 5x plus 3. That's a good example. Okay? So what we're saying then is if we plug in a number for x, if we take 5 times that number and then we add 3, we should get the y value. So it's really like saying y equals 5x plus 3. Those are really saying the same thing, except we've replaced y with f of x. That's what it's called, f of x. That also means that we can put this in xy coordinates. We know if we have a specific x value, the y value we can find by taking 5 times the x value plus 3. I kind of jumbled through that. If we know what the x coordinate is, we can find the y coordinate pretty simply. So let's go through and let's do an example. Okay? For each function, let's evaluate f at 0, f at 1/2, and f at -2. And what that's saying is we're going to do this 3 separate times. For this left problem here, f of 0, all we're going to do is, and it looks like you can see this already, we're going to replace every x in the equation with the number 0. What is this equal to? Y equals 7 minus 2x. Saying the same thing. What's our y coordinate when x is equal to 0? And so to find the first one, we take 7 times 2 minus 0. 7 minus 2 times 0. 2 times 0 is 0, so f of 0 is equal to 7. There's our first answer. It's that simple. If we evaluate at 1/2, f, whenever x is equal to 1/2, is going to be 7 minus 2 times 1/2. And so now all I have to do is take 2 times 1/2. Half of 2 is 1. So that must be equal to 6. The last one, what is, I'm not going to have trouble with this one, I'm going to run out of room. What is f whenever x is equal to -2? What's the y value when x is equal to -2? That's just going to be 7 minus 2 times a -2. Notice I keep the parentheses there, right? -2 times -2 is positive 4, so I have 7 plus 4, which is 11. F, when x is -2, would be equal to 11. So really, in essence, you might see this already. All I'm really doing is kind of plotting points, right? Plotting xy coordinates. 0, 7 is a coordinate on my graph. 1/2, 6 is a point on my graph. -2, 11 is a point on my graph. I've got 3 points already. And so I'm just plotting coordinates. Let's go to this one real quick and see how quickly we can get through it. Same thing here. F at 0, I'm going to put a 0 in for every single one of the x's that I have. And notice how I use the parentheses. 0 squared is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. So f at 0 is equal to 0. First one down. F at 1/2, I'm going to replace every x with 1/2. So it looks like this. Notice the use of parentheses. If I take 1/2 and then I square it, I have 1/4. If I take 1/2 of -4, I have -2. And so 1/4 minus -2 is -1 3/4. So we say in mixed fraction form, or in not in mixed fraction form, but as one fraction, that's -7/4. So f at 1/2 is equal to -7/4. I now have an xy coordinate that I can put on my graph. Let's do one more. This is the trickiest one because I got a square and a negative number. Let's see what happens there. In fact, I'm just going to do this on regular paper right below. I have f of x is equal to x squared minus 4x. So if I do this for f of negative 2, notice the use of parentheses. The negative goes inside the parentheses, right? I'm going to take the number negative 2, and then I'm going to square it. If I take negative 2 times negative 2, I get a positive 4. If I take negative 4 times negative 2, I get a positive 8. And so it turns out that f at negative 2 is equal to 12. So I know a point on my graph is going to be negative 2, 12, if I want to say it that way, right? If that makes sense, and the negatives are what you have to worry about, okay? The negatives going inside the parentheses like this. If you can remember that, then you're ready for the homework.